One Piece live action. What the hell? How did this happen?
I'm scared.
Because if you don't know, live action adaptations of anime are usually bad. But this one isn't. Hello, I am Red Mask and welcome back to the channel. And please do not watch this video if you have not seen the One Piece live action on Netflix, because there's a ton of spoilers. But I don't know if you care, because loads of people hate Netflix. But still, just don't. Anyway, yeah, the One Piece live action. I didn't think I'd ever get around to watching this, especially on the first day, or ever, as I am a massive fan of One Piece. Wrong side. This proves it. I've got massive posters of it, and I'm drinking from a One Piece coffee mug. And I'm drinking water. So yeah, I'm cringe.
Because health is bad.
I'm kidding. Health is good. And I was worried that this would be bad, as I saw the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender adaptation. I didn't know if I should call it The Last Airbender or Avatar: The Last Airbender, because either way this adaptation was absolutely horrible, and I thought, if One Piece is like this, I might just kill myself. Yeah, the One Piece live action. I have watched the first 4 episodes of it, and it's good. It's actually pretty decent. I'm surprised. The visual effects are pretty decent. The set design's good. The characters, and by characters I mean the actors, they all give great performances. Everything looks very One Piece. It's got the humor. It's got the storytelling. I mean, it definitely struggled a bit with the emotional beats. Not to a bad extent. I mean, it would be hard to get the emotional beats sometimes, but it did struggle in a few places. But apart from that, this series is actually been fun to watch the first 4 episodes today. And I mean, I just got hopped on right away to make this video. And I haven't really got that much bad to say about it. There's very few bad parts of One Piece, the live action, which is very strange. The visual effects are good for most of the time. I mean, there are a few cases where the rubber physics, the gum fruit, don't exactly look brilliant. But that was always going to be very iffy in my book. But the rest of it it seems like the people who made this show actually care a lot about the original, manga. And I want to say that this TV show is more in line with how the anime presents One Piece compared to the manga. I mean, it's a bit all over the place, but it starts out the same way as the anime compared to how the manga starts out. Because the manga starts out with Luffy with Shanks, and in the anime it starts out with Alvida, and that's how this show starts out with as well. So, but the anime is still a pretty good version of One Piece to watch if the production team need to find out how to make it right. Main thing I want to praise about the show is just the casting. Seems like it's nearly perfect. I mean, I'm not sure about any of the names of the cast since I never really looked it up, but the people they cast as Nami, Luffy, and Zoro are all pretty much perfect. They all act exactly like I imagine those characters would in real life. Luffy, the actor, is doing the best way he can, because they have made Luffy a little smarter than he is in the manga, but he's still very well acted, and the dude is definitely pretty well cast as Luffy. There's also the near perfect casting of Buggy the Clown. I mean, the dude who plays him just absolutely nails the role. And yeah, and Kobe and Garp, and yeah, they're all in this. And this version of One Piece doesn't follow the exact storyline of One Piece, the manga or anime. They do make a few changes that I think probably are logical, especially with even making a live action adaptation. They would still be on a budget. It just feels like so many things that just didn't need to happen in some parts of the manga. They just cut that out, and it kind of works because he didn't. There are many parts like early on, especially with like the buggy bomb and just big explosions that they just didn't really add anything, and the characters and just even I had problems with the pacing early in One Piece, and I can say they cut out some of the parts that made the pacing a bit, which was nice. It was a bit more breezy than it's pretty breezy show. You can still tell it's made by Netflix. It does have some of their Netflix charm. And the best part of the show is that it proves one thing that I've always hated some people on YouTube say, which is go woke, go broke. That's been thrown around recently a lot because of
Disney.
And this is especially with adaptations. I'm going to put, and people really can't. If this show was bad, people would probably say it was because Netflix went woke. Because Netflix also one of the biggest people target for saying they've gone woke. Especially if you watch The Witcher or like basically any Netflix show, they talk a lot about how it's a big woke show and that's what's ruining it. But with One Piece, they couldn't really go. All the characters are cast so perfectly because the cast is already super diverse. Like, no, most of the main characters aren't white, and it's still a good show. So I think it destroys the entire idea of go woke, go broke, which is even better. There's not very much I can say bad about the show. It's really weird. I thought I had the lowest expectations going into this, and it's actually not that bad at all. The action scenes seem like they've actually got someone who actually knows how to choreograph an action scene, because they're actually pretty good. I mean, they're not like obviously, because it's live action, you can't have like those big anime action scenes where people yell out their attacks and go. But they've made strides and changed it a little bit to something a bit cooler. I don't say cooler. Something that different. But still works in the One Piece world, because the One Piece in the end isn't. It is a shonen, which if you don't know what shonen is, it's basically a kind of young men's anime manga type story, but it usually is all about fighting. Big characters are being fights and stuff like that, like Dragon Ball with Naruto or Bleach or like all those. But I never found One Piece's fights to be the best part of it. I think the best part has always been the world building and the adventure, just the plain adventure of it, and the characters was always what made One Piece One Piece. The fights are just another thing that are cool in One Piece, but I never cared too much. I wouldn't have cared. Going in the show, I knew the fights wouldn't be like anime fights, and I was absolutely fine with that. And yeah, it was interesting. Best part of this show, though, is production designs, the production sets. I mean, it's been said by so many people. I mean, the show just came out today. I'm filming it today. I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but the everyone today has been saying that when I looked online, so I could see some of the reviews from today. Everyone's been going, the production set's absolutely amazing. Whoever made the production sets for this show needs like a massive raise and like an Emmy for production, because Jesus Christ, some of them are just plain and simple taken out of the manga and dropped right into this, and it's like puff. That the number one thing about One Piece, as I said, was world building, and that made it absolutely amazing to watch. See the characters in these like production sets, because they just work perfectly. I mean, I don't think I've gotten to Barati yet, but I've seen it in the trailers and it looks perfect. The the first marine base that we got to, which is in the first episode, all brilliant. The pirate ships all look cool. Den Mushis, like the phones, I mean they are visual effects technically, so I guess, but that I can also limit it to the visual effects, because the visual effects most of the time are also really good. It's my only problem with the visual effects is the obvious gum moves, which I said before, but I don't really say anything bad about that. I mean, I have some small issues, especially with the dialogue, and a few actors I felt like maybe weren't cast brilliantly. My number one problem, I guess, would be the guy who they cast as Shanks. He looks the part, but his acting was very new actory, which is strange. A lot of the actors in the show don't feel like they feel like they've actually acted before. This guy didn't feel like a brilliant actor, but he's not in most of it. So it's the pacing's a bit weird, and they cut a few things out, which also they obviously said they cut things I didn't really want to care about, wanted to see, but they did cut a few things I wanted to see. The best way to put it is there's some scenes with between Zoro and Nami that they cut, which I was kind of not happy about. And there's just some small things that could have been funnier. And they did cut down on Luffy's like eating a lot personality. He still eats, but I mean, his whole personality is he eats a lot. Well, not his whole personality, but part of his personality is how much he just eats a lot and then he fights, and it's funny. It felt like it didn't work perfectly here, which was something I did want to say. There's definitely some character designs that struggled a bit, but that's more a case of how just the manga anime like uses body proportions. You can't really do much about it. I mean, a live action adaptation was never going to have perfect character casting, because there aren't people who are over like 9 feet tall who just act like regular humans. That's just not possible. But majority of what this has actually been enjoyable. I enjoy it. That's the thing. One Piece is always especially the first 100 chapters, which is what the first season is based on, is meant to be is not the big emotional roller coaster journey that the next 900 after that are. It's very much an adventure at the beginning with some emotional beats, but it's meant to be fun, plain and simple. There's also a bit of a sprinkle of the feeling of Pirates of the Caribbean in the show, which I really I liked it. There is a feeling of still piracy that I actually liked in the show compared to the manga. The one thing I like more is that they actually use pirates a lot more, like the actual idea of pirates and ships and cannon fights and all really well in this show. And it builds a better world. I mean, in One Piece, it's a pirate thing, but there's not a lot of ship battles or whatever, because you can't really do that, because Luffy's main weakness is he can't touch water, or like he can't touch sea water for too long or he loses powers. I mean, the number one thing I wanted out of the show is and it's something I saw from the trailers, is that I was worried it was going to look like a fan-made version of One Piece with just people cosplaying the characters, not actually being the characters, because a lot of characters were wearing wigs because they had and I was worried it's going to be like the version, what was it, I think the Full Metal Alchemist live action, which was a bit weird, where they wear wigs, but the hair and even the hair of most characters seems realistic, and it doesn't take out much of the world, because everyone looks kind of strange in the One Piece world, and that's kind of works for the best, because it builds the world building even more, and that's really good. I don't have much bad to say about this show. I actually think it's going to be a verified hit because I think a lot of people will like it. A lot of One Piece fans, like, they probably went in with low expectations like I did, or they heard a bit good stuff, but they're still worried. I'm going to tell you that they did it right. It feels like a show made by people who actually read for and have cared about One Piece, and Ashiro Oda was right to. He also said he enjoyed. He's seen it. He apparently likes it, and I understand why. It's his life's work come to life, and it is really great. It's just good to see that One Piece is finally. I mean, it does have like a Western audience, but it's getting a more widened Western audience, which I really love because I've loved the show. I've loved One Piece since I was 16, 15, 16. And since it's one of the first animes I got introduced to, because I looked up what anime to watch after Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and this came up, and I just like, should I read or watch it? Read it, loved it. That's One Piece for you. I definitely give it about an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10 seems right to me. Yeah, please comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.